Welcome to Revenue Growth Live with Daryl Amy. You're about to join an interactive forum where business executives, sales professionals, and marketing leaders share ideas to accelerate growth. While you are here, make sure to like or subscribe to get notifications for future episodes. You're encouraged to get involved in today's live conversation by liking and commenting. Now, let's join Daryl Amy for fresh ideas and innovative strategies to help you grow your business faster.
Hello and welcome back to Revenue Growth Live. Daryl Amy here, helping generous leaders grow their organizations so they can give back. And I'm really excited about not only today, what we have to share, but I just want to say Happy New Year to everybody. I hope you had a fantastic vacation. I hope you're back at it. I spent the last weekend and the first part of this week planning for this year on my annual, actually quarterly sabbatical. I consider the one at the top of the year, the big one where you really cast a vision for the year. And I got to say, I'm so fired up about 2021 and all that we're going to be doing this year. There are many exciting things ahead, some that I'll be able to announce very shortly. And I want to say, hey, this is a year where I've been saying we got to get it done in 2021. This is a critical year. This is a make or break year for many organizations. And at Revenue Growth Live, my commitment is to continue to bring you ideas to make sure that you're set up to thrive in the new year. And so we're going to talk today about one of the foundational things for being able to drive revenue, both from a net new standpoint and from a cross-sell standpoint. And that's making sure you have the right data in place. And I know data has been a bit of a nightmare. Prospect data, customer data, CRM, marketing automation. How do we make sense of all that? Well, I want to give you a framework to get your arms around it and get your arms around it quickly. We'll talk about that today. But as we get started, one of the things that I am super excited about is the 2021 Authentic Selling Challenge. So for everybody that's listening in, that is in sales, leads a sales team, you do not want to miss this. And in fact, if you're in marketing, you got to forward this on to your sales team as well. The 2021 Authentic Selling Challenge. I'm going to get to co-host this with Larry Levine, but we have got a dynamite group of faculty with Mark Hunter, Meredith Elliott Powell, Bryn Tillman, just go on, Dave Sanderson. It is Amy Franco. It's going to be, and many, many more. It's going to be 10 days of incredible motivation. In fact, why don't I do this? Because I don't want you to miss out on this. Let me show you how this is going to work. I'm going to go into this short video, and it's going to give you a taste of what's ahead starting on Monday. Yeah, so you do not want to miss that. It is fantastic. And best of all, thanks to our friends at BombBomb and the Selling from the Heart Insiders Group, all of this is totally free. So sign up at 2021 Authentic Selling. It's the link's across the bottom. I've also posted the link in the chat as well. And you don't want to miss this. Make sure your sales team knows about it. As we get ready to dive into this conversation today about a practical way to get hold of your data, I also want to let you know about a conversation that I think is going to be something that we talk about in the weeks and months to come, and that is artificial intelligence. I had an incredible conversation about an application of artificial intelligence in sales and marketing with Ann Chang, and she has spun up an incredibly powerful tool with her company. Where are we? Supercharged Lab. That's where we are. Supercharged Lab. I had the opportunity to talk with Ann about artificial intelligence in sales and how she is applying it. And I want you to listen to this conversation, even if you're in marketing, especially if you're in marketing, because what they have come up with and what she has rolled out is a way to customize messages based on the psychological or personality profile of the prospect. And it's an extremely exciting emergence on the frontier of artificial intelligence. And I think this is going to be a topic that we talk about more and more throughout 2021, is how do we apply artificial intelligence to improve our results? And she's got some really cool things going on there. So today, what I want to talk about, though, and welcome to everybody that's joined live. And if you're listening in after the fact, that's awesome as well. We're glad you're here. Revenue Growth Live is all about bringing you ideas and strategies that you can put to work in your organization to grow your revenue. And we want to continue to put resources in front of you to do that. And today, one of the conversation I want to have today is an important conversation that you may go, Daryl, do we really have to talk about data? Because for most organizations, whether it's sales in your CRM or whether it's marketing in your marketing automation system, the reality is for most organizations, data is a mess. It's a nightmare. If we don't want to talk about it, we don't really want to admit it. But the reality is, if you go into your CRM, it's a disaster from a data standpoint, both with customer data and prospect data. And most marketing automation systems are not much better. And so, the question I want to address today is, how do we get our hands around managing our data? And I would say that here's what I want to propose. I would say that the very first step that you need to take in getting your arms around your data for prospects and clients is to, first of all, understand who your ideal client and therefore also your ideal prospects are. We talk in Revenue Growth Engine, and you've heard me talk about it here on the Revenue Growth Live. We talk about it on the podcast. The reality is that good old 80-20 rule is in effect. Everyone remembers Vilfredo Pareto, right? 80-20 rule. Vilfredo Pareto was an economist. He was from Italy, late 1800s. And he basically found that 20% in his case, he discovered 20% of the people owned 80% of the land, but he started looking around and he realized that the 80-20 rule is alive and well all over the place. And I can guarantee you this, and I've seen this in all different types of companies, all different sizes, different industries. 80-20 rule is in effect. 20% of your clients drive 80% of your revenue. 20% of your clients are a good fit for your organization. 20% of your clients have the potential to buy everything that you sell. So when you look and you go, okay, well, why are we talking about this related to data? If this is right here, if this is your CRM, or if you're listening from a marketing standpoint, and this is your marketing automation system right here, and this represents the entire landscape of all of your prospects or all of your clients or both. and your data is a mess. If you were to be honest and say, Daryl, our data is a disaster. It's a mess. I can't. And what defines data being in a good place? I would say number one, you can quickly identify and launch campaigns to your ideal prospects. Everybody can quickly identify who they are. And number two, you can quickly identify and launch campaigns and track activity for your ideal clients. This should be, I would say here we can identify, we can launch campaigns, and we can track activity on these clients. Should we be able to do this for everybody? Maybe, but step one in getting your hands around your data is to make sure that you can do this for your ideal clients and your ideal prospects. So here's what I want to propose. Sometimes I think we look at our CRM and it's like looking at that garage that we haven't cleaned out. From a Canadian friends, the garage that you haven't cleaned out in 2 years or longer. Or it's like looking at that closet or the attic. There's so much stuff up there that you look at it and go, this is impossible. So you don't do anything. What I would say is don't look at the whole picture. Start here. Look at your ideal clients and your ideal prospects. Hopefully you have an ideal client profile. If not, that's where you need to start. In Revenue Growth Engine, we walk you through how to build an ideal client profile. In our growth strategy workshops, we walk you through how to build an ideal client profile. But from a data perspective now, you need to look at that data and say, okay, number one, can we clearly mark our ideal clients in our CRM? Are they clearly marked in our CRM and in our marketing automation system? And hopefully they talk to each other, but that's a different conversation. We'll save that for another episode. Have we identified them? Number two, do we have all of the contact info for the decision makers? I'm just going to add that to the list because this is really important. Do we have, for all of our ideal clients, all of the contact information for the decision makers and influencers? And we know from our friends over Brent Adamson and Matt Dixon, Challenge Your Customer, there's an average of 6.7 decision makers or influencers in the average B2B transaction. That was data from about 10 years ago. I was recently on Power Lunch Live, and Brent Adamson chimed in and said, Daryl, the number is closer to 10. It's above 10. What does that mean? For your ideal prospects, you should have at least 6 contacts, if not 10, for each of your ideal prospects. You at least need to have the key decision makers and influencers. So once again, getting your arm around your data. When you look at, let's start with clients. You look at your ideal clients. If you have 1,000 clients, there are probably 200 that you really need to pay attention to at first in your CRM to make sure you've identified them, you clearly marked them, you tagged them, however you do that, that you have the contact information. And, if you were trying to do that across your entire client base, you'd be overwhelmed. You wouldn't do anything. However, you can start and say, okay, our goal is in the next 30 days, we're going to get all the contact information in our CRM for our ideal clients. You can do that through a combination of initiative with your sales team. Hopefully you have target accounts that you manage. You have key accounts, ideal clients that you manage. You can do those in your account reviews. You can work on that. You can buy that data, whatever that strategy is, to make sure that, for these 20% that you've got all the data. You need to make sure that you're able to launch campaigns and communicate with them. And you also need to make sure that you can track activity. One of the things that's really critical when it comes to your ideal clients is that you're managing those relationships. You need to be able to track things like quarterly business reviews. You need to be able to track how those clients are interacting with your client communication campaigns and strategies. So here's where I'm going with this. And if you're just joining, what we're doing today is we're talking about how to get our arms around the mess that's data in most CRMs. And I'm proposing to you that you do that by looking at your ideal client profile, your ideal prospect profile, and you begin by identifying clearly your ideal clients in your CRM and marketing automation system. Then you do the same activity with your ideal prospects. Now, look, if you've got an ideal prospect mindset, as opposed to saying we're just going to go after everybody in the marketplace, but you know who your best fit prospects are. The reality is your CRM, you can't track every single. If you're B2B, you can't track every business in the market, but you need to make sure your ideal prospects are clearly marked, right? We've got them identified, that we've got contact information for each one of those ideal prospects, that we're able to launch campaigns, that we're able to track sales activity. So should we be able to do that for every single prospect in our database? Maybe, but I would say definitely for your ideal prospects, you need to be able to do that. So, you might have 10,000 prospects, but you might have identified 2,000 that are, your target market. You might have your ideal prospects, where you have said, and we advocate for this in Revenue Growth Engine, that look, sales team, you can call on whomever you want, but these ideal prospects that are assigned to you, absolutely 100%, they will hear from our organization. They will hear from you on a quarterly basis, let's say. So we need to be able to track that activity. So we got to know who they are, who the contacts are in those accounts. You can get that manually. You can buy it. It's probably going to be a combination of both. And you need to be able to launch campaigns and track activity to those people. So what's the takeaway of this? The takeaway of all of this is to say, look, 2021, if we want to grow, if we want to be able to cross-sell, we need to know who our cross-sell candidates are, our ideal clients. If we want to grow net new and we want to do it in a scalable, sustainable way, we need to pull on ideal prospects and turn them into ideal clients. What does that mean? When it comes to our data, we may not be able to solve our entire data problem. It may just be like that garage. It may be just too overwhelming. But what we do need to do is carve out the ideal prospects and the ideal clients and make sure that we've got our data house in order for those prospects and clients. And so that's what I want to challenge you to do. If your data is a mess, it's okay. You're not alone. I want to challenge you, though, to say, okay, we may not be able to get all of it straightened out. We may not be able to keep all of it straightened out, but we are going to definitely make sure we have identified our ideal clients and our ideal prospects, that we've identified the decision makers and influencers in those accounts, and that we have the ability to launch campaigns and track activity. If you get that done and then move to the rest of your database, that's great. If all you do is make sure that you've clearly marked your ideal prospects and your ideal clients in your CRM and marketing automation system, in my opinion, I think you have gotten 80% of the work done. And let me speak to my marketing friends for a moment. One of the challenges with a marketing automation system, especially where you're gathering leads off the World Wide Web, is there is a lot of riffraff in your marketing database. You might have a company in Chicago and serve the Chicagoland area, but guess what? People are coming to your website from all over North America and all around the world. What does that mean? There's going to be a lot of garbage in your website in terms of things that aren't prospects. Once again, I would say, don't worry about that. Don't panic about that, but make sure that you have your ideal prospects and your ideal clients clearly marked in your marketing automation system, so that when an ideal prospect comes to your website, pings on your radar, downloads something, that's when the red light starts spinning. That's when you pay attention. The rest of it, you're always going to have riffraff in your marketing automation database, but make sure 100% that you have your ideal prospects and your ideal clients clearly marked, who they are. So this is your project. And I would say if your data's a mess, you're not alone, but begin getting it cleaned up and make sure that your ideal prospects and your ideal clients clearly marked, key contacts identified, information so you can launch campaigns, and information or the ability to track sales activity. If you get that done for your ideal prospects and clients, you'll be good. Then what you need to do, and maybe we'll talk about this in a future episode, is you need to make sure you have processes in place to keep that data fresh and clean. And we'll share some ideas about that in the future. You can also find some in Revenue Growth Engine. So as we wrap up today, though, I just want to say Happy New Year once again to everybody. This is an important time for all of us. We've been saying that we've got to get it done in 2021. This is a make or break year for many organizations. So for all of you in sales, in marketing, I want to encourage you to work together. Along that line, we've got an exciting announcement that is probably going to come out next week that you're not going to want to miss. So keep it on your radar. We've got an exciting announcement coming up about aligning marketing and sales. But in the meantime, get your salespeople engaged in the 2021 Authentic Selling Challenge. And until next time, let's get going and let's get growing.